Welcome to the Rob Liefeld Show featuring Robservations. I bring over 40 years experience in the world of comic books and entertainment. Across 5 decades, I offer insights and opinions on the business and the art of comic books and pop culture. If it's happening in games, in streaming, in movies, in comic books, we are covering it and discussing it right here. Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Rob Liefeld Show featuring Robservations. I am your host, Rob Liefeld. I am happy to have been in this incredible comic book industry, pop culture, entertainment for 40 plus years, approaching 41 years. It is always staggering to me that much time has passed, but it is that much fun and enjoyment that I've had that I'm trying to share with you on this show where we celebrate comic books, pop culture, the streaming and movies and toys that are made from comic books, and most of all, the creators of comic books. Wherever you are listening today, from Apple, Spotify, from the YouTube platform, from iHeartRadio, Podbean, we thank you for joining us. Thanks for being a part of the show. You guys fuel this show. Your enthusiasm fuels this show, and today, we are squarely locking in our focus on creators of comic books, specifically the incredible artists, the illustrators that make these wonderful comic book experiences for us. And as the title of the show implies, I am sharing with you what I believe are the best drawn comic books ever, the best. Now, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and all art is subjective. Music, film, paintings, all art is subjective. So you are no doubt going to have your own list of what you believe to be the best drawn comic books ever. And I welcome the debate. I welcome the discussion. I welcome your opinions, and you are free to leave them wherever we read your opinions, from Apple to Spotify to YouTube and everything in between, because this is going to be obviously a source of some debate. But if I can shine a light on some of these comics that perhaps you have not seen, you have not interacted with, and get you to check them out, then it's a win for everybody, because these are amazing comic books. Now, right from the outset, I'm going to shock you. I'm going to inform you that there is no John Byrne, George Perez, some of the popular names that I have mentioned over the years in this list, but it happens to be, we're going to talk about 4 comics. 2 are from DC, 2 are from Marvel. 1 is from the 70s, 2 are from the 80s, and 1 is from just a few years back. And I have always had tremendous respect for anybody who can put together a 22, a 20, a 25-page comic book and get it to market. And comic books all have different functionality. The reason that I love the Frank Miller stuff the way I do, the John Byrne stuff the way I do, the reason you love fill in the blank, whatever you love the way it does, is because it took me on a ride. It took me on a journey. There was some discovery. There were some incredible moments. And that speaks to an extended campaign of storytelling. Many of the artists that are going to be shared with you today were not monthly artists. They did not hit monthly deadlines for any extended period throughout their careers. But what they did do is produce singular bangers. I mean, like just you're stunned at the level of artistry and the mastery of just the entire craft of creating just creating illustrations, not just comic book illustrations. Many of these gentlemen would have found and did find incredible opportunities and success outside of the comic book industry. The fact that they took their time out, took their focus, were so caught up in creating these singular works is really what we're going to focus and emphasize on. And, you know, over the course of these 5 years, and I've shared with you my journey, and many times some of these artists, of which none of these are today, but some of these artists, and if there was a 5th candidate, I will mention that a 5th candidate would fit into this this idea of the annual. Over the 5 years that you've listened to me here on this show, you have heard me talk about in the summertime when I was growing up, collecting comics more and more rapidly each and every year, more ravenously, I should say. Uh, Artists like Art Adams and Michael Golden and Kevin Nolan and some real outstanding talents would come out with these isolated one shots, 30 pages, 40 pages, generally a double sized comic book that would just blow your mind. And you'd wish and wonder, why was this not happening more frequently? But then you get into the business, and we've talked, especially year one of this show, if you go back through the back catalog, so much was discussed. And let me, little sidebar. The first year of this catalog was one of the most uplifting periods because several editors, figures from the comic book industry stepped forward. Larry Marder, who had been the publisher for Image for many plus, what was it, 6 or 7 years, said, Rob, you're hitting all this stuff right on the money. This is exactly how these things went down. Jim Salicrup, the editor of the best-selling Spider-Man #1 that Todd McFarlane produced, the guy that unlocked Todd McFarlane, would contact me and say, Rob, your show is so fun. You have really, he made a public post saying, if you want to go inside the comics industry and see how it was during this period that Rob is recounting, he's right on the money. Gregory Wright, an editor, as well as an artist, a colorist, a writer, has commented the same. None of these people were expected to or counted on to weigh in this, but over time, all of them have eventually let their voices be heard, and it is really fun because I'm trying to land each and every plane with you in a very factual manner, giving you the time and sometimes the constraints, but differently the conditions of the times with which this art was created. And what me and my guys realized is, and this is the point of these annuals, and looking back on them, and some of the comments, I mean, some of the topics that we've had in the past on this show, speaking to the regularity of meeting a monthly deadline, getting a monthly product, getting a monthly storytelling out there. Some of it just was not embraced by some of these. I'll call them masters of the craft. They loved comics, but and there are some I've mentioned, none of whom I've named yet, but there are a couple of greats who just would throw away their pages. They couldn't stand the work they did. It had to meet a certain criteria. And when you're doing a monthly deadline, that is much more difficult. The pages have to go out the door. You have to have a production mindset. The annuals that were coming out at this time, and someone like Art Adams, he became, for the first basically 8 to 10 years of his life, an annual guy. You saw his work once, maybe twice a year. It was enough to really carry you, inspire you, really charge you up, because you knew, because you kind of were acclimated to the fact that he was going to give you a product once every 10 or 12 months, but you just soaked it up. And then they get collected again. Once it's out, it's forever. And then you get X-Men omnibuses, and there's all of his annuals, under one stitching, under one giant oversized book stitched together, and you get to flip through it and relive those memories and admire the artistic accomplishments of all those panels, those faces, those figures, those actions. So really want to lean into the fact that what we are talking about today is singular issues, singular pages that I believe are some of the most incredibly realized, illustrated comic books of all time. And we are fortunate that we are able to admire them. If you haven't, I strongly urge you to, at the end of the show, maybe in the middle of the show, go grab these comics. All of them are obtained digitally. You can grab them all via the Amazon Comixology application. I don't know if Comixology is still a thing, but I still buy them. I just go to the Amazon, boom, buy it. It appears in my what is it? It's the all right, what is it? Let's just go to the phones. Let's go to the phones. It's the come on. Kindle, the Kindle. So the Amazon Kindle has replaced the Comixology dedicated app that used to exist. This stuff is available. You guys know that I have referred to all the time that I believe that Superman Muhammad Ali is the greatest illustrated comic book of all time. That is one of our contenders today. Where it is unfair on some level is that it is plus 60 pages. This is the longest which then on the flip you go, well, it maintained that quality over all of the entire 64 pages. So, or maybe it's 70 pages. It's a monster. So perhaps that is that is what elevates it and even puts it further into the discussion. All of the other comics are in the 22 to 30 page range, and they're spectacular. And I'm going to show them, the majority of them, to you in black and white form. And here is where we just completely put the brakes on, stop the show, so that I may address. I love you guys. I love when you leave in the comments, can somebody show Liefeld screenshots and screen shares? And hey, time out. That's not happening. You have no idea the complete just the effort it takes for me to sit here and look into this camera, speak and discuss these episodes, create these episodes. It is a chore. I have written about this in my Facebook group. It's not a whine. It's just a realization. There's something about doing this, whether it's the prep, setting everything up, making sure all the wires go, making sure the platform is up. Already today, as you're listening to me, this has crashed on me twice, okay? I had to let my production guys know this may be coming in even later because this has already crashed on me twice. I rebooted the Wi-Fi. I don't know what's going on. I try, you run around. This is a low-tech operation. Thank you for celebrating our low-tech operation and bringing it as far as you have. In regards to just kind of raising this show from the dead, but it is going to remain low tech. We're not doing screen shares. We're not doing higher levels of, and you're like, Rob, it's just another button. I can't do the extra buttons. Okay. I can't do that at this time. You guys, we have got to keep it super basic. So please remember 3 or 4 months ago, and you're like, "Hey, he's finally giving me what I want." He has a camera apparatus. I'm gonna be able to see some of the stuff. I'm gonna be able to see some of the stuff that he's sharing. Go back to that time before you tell me how, "Hey, Rob, it's really simple. Just do that." This show can't take any more buttons. So just sidebar, please enjoy the basics as I will offer them to you as I push these images into the camera, linger on them, and let you see them. Okay, you guys, I'm not getting any younger, and I was gonna do this at the top of the show, but I'll walk you through. So, woke up, inked several panels on a page, approved a couple of cover mock-ups that were in my inbox, went over lettering, and went over about 18 pages of manga renditions from Seth DeMoose that he has put on Youngblood manga number 2. And obviously then I cleaned myself up, arranged everything here. It's not even 10 a.m. yet. I start my mornings at about 5 a.m. So by the time I'm here, I've already put in a partial day's work. That's what doing comics is. That's what excites me. It kind of gets my blood going. Over the last couple of days, I really focused in on this topic, that this was something I wanted to share. I pulled all these issues last night, and I made the call that we are going to share them in black and white form. Here we go. I am telling you again that I am sharing to you what I believe, and I think these comics should be sought out, and you should look at them, and you should come to your own conclusion. But these are the best drawn comics ever. Okay, we're going to start with X-Men 186. It is illustrated, and here's the through line. It's illustrated by Barry Windsor Smith, but it's inked by Terry Austin. Terry Austin's nib, his inks, touched 3 of these jobs. Not planned, just the realization that Terry Austin may be the tie that binds everything together. He's so fantastic. And none of these jobs resemble the next. They are all completely different in their approach. The way the artist, the penciler, the illustrator approaches form, lighting, figure work, storytelling, backgrounds, all of them radically different. Terry does what he always does. He takes each page and he makes it his own while retaining what is unique and special about each of these. Barry Windsor Smith had emerged after a long slumber. He left comic books. He walked away. He went into fine art. He had, I believe it was called Jabberwocky Press. If that's incorrect, I didn't do my research properly, but off the top of my head, I remember it as Jabberwocky Press. He made prints. He did book illustrations, fine art. He was part of a studio that was joined by Jay Muth, Michael Kaluta, and for a period, I believe, is it right? Is it Wrightson? These guys, they put out a book that I would recommend all of you to grab. I'll have to grab it and bring it into studio, and we can uh, gawk over it. But now I have to make sure that I'm completely not. Yep. Jeffrey Jones, sorry, not Muth. Jeffrey Jones, Michael Kaluta, Bernie Wrightson, Barry Windsor Smith. The studio book, it has to have gone back to press. I have an original edition. They are so beautiful. It showcases gives each of them a section. So they each have a quarter of the book, and it's fantastic. Barry Windsor Smith was returning to comics. He slowly returned to inking over his friend Herb Trimpe on a Machine Man annual that they kept on the down low. Didn't want people to know that the reason that this Herb Trimpe artwork looked so differently. I've covered it because this is part of the reemergence. This book comes out in 1984. The Machine Man book that has 3 issues inked by Barry Windsor Smith, and then he fully pencils and inks the 4th issue. Marvel was bringing 11 by 17s to the conventions that they were going to, Chicago and San Diego of 1983. One of the big things on their table that they were promoting was the Walt Simonson Beta Ray Bill arrival on Thor, but you also saw this Machine Man, and what often the editors, and for me in my interactions at San Diego, the editor named Ralph Macchio was standing behind the table, and he had the again 11 by 17s of this Machine Man job. And he's like, guess the artist. They always said, guess the artist, guess the artist. And then they'd say, well, it's Herb Trimpe. And then like, well, why does this look so different? Maybe in some ways elevated, advanced. They said, find out when the book ships. They weren't going to tell you that Barry Windsor Smith, the classic Barry Windsor Smith of Conan, of Red Nails, was the one who was providing the embellishing. He then emerges onto X-Men 186 with Life Death, with this epic story, Storm and Forge. And I'm going to tell you, this first page almost just seals the entire deal. Look at this entire page. Now, I am showing this to you via these, I'm not sure if they're still in print, but man, these Marvel Essentials, the black and white books, are just, they are the pride of my collection. I have over 100 of them. I pretty much bought each and every one they produced. This shot of Storm laying in bed with the tapestry of the sheets around her, and look at that careful detail in that hair, and the incredible rendering. But so 1986, I enroll at Fullerton College. Nixon Bora is one of our most esteemed art instructors in Orange County. And the reason I went to Fullerton College was the people who I knew said, Rob, the Cal State Fullerton classes are not as good as the ones that you're going to get at the junior college. Go to Fullerton College, a junior college at the time. So I made sure that I enrolled in all of the art programs there. And there was a life drawing class. And often in life drawing classes, they'd have a model. I'll tell you a little more about the model maybe this episode, maybe another time. Male model, by the way, but males and females who would come in and pose as they do if you've never attended a life drawing class. And they will stand in different positions. And you will do 20-minute studies, 10-minute studies, 60-minute studies, 90-minute studies, however long and the model knows it's going in. They are disrobed unless they then put sheets and they put robes on so that you can see the fold of clothes and the way that different fabrics fall on the figure. We did a woman who was draped laying down once. And so when this came out in 1984, I didn't have the proper appreciation that I did, because I'm telling you, this one shot like catapults this entire job into again, this is X-Men 186 for those of you on podcast, Life Death a love story, and page one, the splash page. And in black and white, I'm showing you guys. And Barry Windsor Smith, Terry Austin, just spectacular. This is a double-sized issue. And then look at the white space here that Barry, that extended kind of the negative white space, really isolating Storm on the bed. And then, of course, we go in further on her. And then we've already been introduced to Forge, and here he is rendered by Barry Windsor Smith. And I mean, the faces throughout this book are stunning. He is trying to, rest, kind of convince Storm to awaken from her slumber here, and you can see him gently lifting her body. One thing that unites several of these stories is they're very quiet. Two of them are quiet stories. Very little to, if any, fisticuffs, but just this motion. When I got this in high school, this is my junior year, I'm in high school, avid X-Men fan, like probably many of you. And I was just blown away in color by the presentation of this comic. Getting these black and whites and being able to study them is even more. I'll go out of my way to say it, humbling. Every page in here, especially this opening page with this it's very, Storm is depressed. She is sad. Look at this illustration with Forge and these clouds, and then this Storm in her costume as he imagines, as he programs. The entire book is shockingly delicious. It is this Nightcrawler talking to Charles Xavier, the depth and the structure, the faces. I'm a big face guy. I love faces. I love how interesting faces can just completely draw you in. You would say that this book is extremely detailed. Again, kudos to Terry Austin for not shying away. There are stories in the history of comics of inkers who would take art. Look at that profile. Look at that profile of Forge. Look at these incredible faces. You can just tell. Barry is flexing. There is a history in comics of inkers taking, let's say, 1 to 3 to 4 lines and making them just one in order to meet the deadline. I don't need these extra lines. I don't need this extra rendering. I'm going to limit this. Instead of 3 levels of cross-hatching, I'm going to do 1. I'm going to do 2. You can absolutely tell that Terry embraced this extended scene. One of my favorite faces right here, this exchange, these faces between Forge and Storm. Again, I'm a big guy on the faces. This page as she dives into the pool. I mean, look at the grace of this figure. Barry Windsor Smith, when he first broke into the business, Barry Windsor Smith was derided from the outset as a Kirby clone, a Jack Kirby clone, and there is no denying that his early work, especially the stuff that he was doing on the Avengers at the time, was very much Kirby Cap, Kirby Thor. The Avengers were. He had a Kirby-esque way. He was approaching the pages with a unique storytelling that Kirby would not have given us in regards to some of his design sense, and that looked to have been borrowed somewhat by some of the stuff that Jim Steranko was doing in his Nick Fury jobs, in his Captain America jobs. But the strength of the meat on the bone of the early Barry Windsor Smith stuff, he was just called Barry Smith, was the Kirby stuff. He then goes and transitions to Conan, and he wants to push himself, and you can tell more and more, create a body of work in panels that are more illustrative, and just the composition, the depth. And then he goes away and he comes back with Red Nails, which is his seminal Conan achievement, and it is on a different level in regards to detail for that time, for the late 60s, early 70s. And you should check that out. You should see it. There is an artist edition of Red Nails, all black and white, that will blow your mind. But again, the storytelling and the drawing across these pages with Storm and Forge and the discussions and just the beauty of these moments. The book is very quiet, and yet it is so ridiculously well uh, illustrated, beautifully. The figures, the composition, the cropping of each of the panels, the staging of each scene, the stacking of the panels. Here's a great page. Because this is a dire wraith from the Storm comics. This is a sequence where a dire wraith startles a man in his car, and this is so beautifully harrowing. This is like if you saw this on screen, it would be a jump scare as this man goes to his car, and then there it is, right in front of the windshield. This incredible beast, this monster. The level of drawing, lighting, rendering in this book is spectacular. The creature breaks through the windshield. Look at all that shattered glass. Spits into his temple, drains him. But here again, look at these faces. Look at these incredible faces. Let me tell you something. This was the buzz of the comic book store. This was the buzz of the community. X-Men 186, from its opening quiet moments to its later, you know, sequences with Rogue. Here's a sequence where she's in a car and she's pulling back on the driver. In the broken windshield, they crash into the trees. I mean, you can just see the level of craftsmanship being flexed on you. This is a book that is to be stared at and admired. And then, of course, Forge leaves as he's attempting to romance Forge. He leaves this gown again, much more tapestry, with the way that the cloth folds and falls and adheres to the figure, and just the sequences with the monster are about as loud as this book gets. But Barry Windsor Smith, Terry Austin, Life, Death 186. There would be a sequel to this that Barry drew himself. That is also amazing. Towards the end, the sequence where Storm is laying in the field with the grass. I mean, this could be a painting hanging in a gallery. This shot alone, the extent with which Barry draws these blades of grass, all wet grass as the rain is pouring down on them, kind of falling onto Storm's form. This stuff is spectacular. You get a little action as they argue in the rain. Storm pops Forge here later in the book. The rain cascading down on them, but beautiful, the most beautiful renditions of Storm. Mohawk Storm had every single comic book fan excited. That there was a level of danger when she cut her hair, made it into the Mohawk. This is at the end of towards the end of the Paul Smith run. We've given Paul Smith his own dedicated episode. We did it this year, and it was one of our most listened to, shared, passed around, discussed episodes. A lot of what Paul did was incredible, especially the Wolverine, Medico, Silver Samurai wedding issues, which at the end, Storm has this Mohawk hair. So this was still fresh. But man, did Barry just go off here. You can feel the rain hitting Forge right here in the face. The few times that I have been able to depict rain with my characters, it's so fun. It's a lot more work with drawing those straight lines. I think Frank Miller really responded, and if you grabbed the Sin Cities over the year, you can see he loves the pelting rain. And here is that pelting rain on Forge as he and Storm kind of have their dramatic showdown. Is stunning. One more shot of this. I mean, you feel the impact. Look at all that rain. I mean, kudos to the art team. I don't know how long it took to create the art of Life, Death, X-Men number 186, but it is a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece that has stood the test of time. I very much hope that if you have not interacted with it, admire it, grab it, look at it. The figure work, the figure work, the dynamics on the figure work, the beauty of the faces, the storytelling, knowing when to pull back, knowing when to go tighter with his camera, making the moments more tense. the atmosphere, the rain, the cross hatching, the details, and the the tapestry. I mean, really, there had never been anything like that in an extended comic. Nothing that looks anything like that. And that first page with Storm curled up with the sheets all falling and folding around her form. Uh, it's one for the ages. It is in my top three best illustrated, best drawn comics of all time. Time has not changed that. Nothing has come to bear that will take that down a notch. Not even the other stuff that Barry has done, which is, you know, a ton of killer great work from Archer and Armstrong to his Weapon X stuff, which is fantastic. And the Weapon X stuff, I would love to have seen some of that actually inked by Terry Austin, because some of it gets grimier and dirtier in the inks, which is exactly what I believe Barry Windsor Smith was trying to put forth. But you can't deny that the extra gloss, the sheen, the clarity of lines, the crispness of Terry Austin's Croco work just gives everything that extra oomph, that extra flavor. But I think of all of Barry Windsor Smith's jobs, Life, Death, X-Men 186 stands head and shoulders above all of them. Here is another book from the 80s. I'm going to go through Superman Muhammad Ali. We already know that I find that to be, you know, an incredible body of work. Doctor Strange 55. I got a funny story about this. There is an artist that became popular. He burst on the scene. He was doing Vampirilla. He worked for Harris. His name was Buzz. You guys knew him as Buzz. He's a nice guy. Aldrin Awe is his on-screen name. He went by Buzz for many years. Apparently, he has hundreds and hundreds of copies of this book. He says that for the 40 years that it has existed, if he sees it at a show, at a store, he will purchase it. The closest I come to that is the multiple copies of Days of Future Past that I have obtained. A friend of mine, a professional friend of mine, when I informed them that I had to run and go to the comic store because the comic store had put on their Instagram that they had gotten in a run of Byrne Austin's X-Men, said, "You're buying those again?" And I said, "I can't have enough. I can never have enough." Okay. Sometimes when something hits you, clicks with you, you just roll with it. You know, you just roll with it, and we're rolling with it. This book is another book that finds its way into every conversation as one of the best illustrated comics of all time. Doctor Strange 55 by one Michael Golden. It is another isolated, standalone story. Again, with Life, Death, I don't know how far ahead Chris Claremont worked, knowing that Barry Windsor Smith had time and could fit that book in. It's a double sizer, something that is hard for even the best of the timely artists that met the regular deadlines back in the 80s. So I do wonder how much lead time Barry had to create and craft this incredible Life, Death. Similarly, I have to believe that Michael Golden was given some lead time with which to craft this single issue. I believe it's 22-page, Doctor Strange, number 55, To Have Loved and Lost. Another kind of maudlin, sad story with Doctor Strange mourning. Storm is mourning. So maybe there's something to the fact that these artists get to put their characters in despair. And yes, that double entendre here matters in Doctor Strange, because the villain of this piece is despair. As D apostrophe S-P-A-Y-R-E. Despair is a great Doctor Strange supernatural foe. We begin, here's the cover to Doctor Strange 55, pencil and inked by Michael Golden himself, just as Barry Windsor Smith pencil and inked the cover to X-Men 186. Stunning imagery. Here's the cover to Doctor Strange 55. And then boom, we are off to the races. We are off to the races, and we're not looking back. This opening shot of Doctor Strange, clearly, you know, concerned, sad, just the composition, the use of the zipatone, which I'm not sure Michael Golden told Terry Austin to use that, but the Sanctum Sanctorum, just that, even that first panel, that crop, and then going right into here, this second panel, as these two panels make up the first page of Doctor Strange 55. And then you've got Wong, who is attempting to console and best understand what Doctor Strange is going through. And look at this panel here with this drama. Again, we've got rain, we've got the dim lighting, incredible use of shadows, and you want to talk about a guy who also understood tapestry. I mean, look at the flow and the fall of the folds in the shirt here on Stephen Strange. Just incredible. I mean, Doctor Strange 55, when I say it jumped into the conversation immediately, believe me when I tell you this, Strange is mourning, the disappearance, the absence of Clea. Look at this crop on this face, just this crop. We don't get the completed nose, but we get this deep shadow. And then, of course, Clea appears, and you see this beautiful rendition of Clea by Michael Golden and Terry Austin. And then she dissipates, and he's frustrated because, is this a vision? Who's taunting him? Why is he being visited by this ghost? Then we get the appearance. Look at this guy. Look at this guy sit in squat position, floating above Strange. Look at that smoke. And again, Todd McFarlane, myself, Jim Lee, where do you think we all we saw this smoke once and we look to replicate it the rest of our lives? If it's coming out of a gun, if it's coming, out of a rifle, if it's part of an atmosphere. Michael Golden taught us how to do this stuff. He was incredibly impactful. Dakeem is this character. Dakeem, okay? He introduces himself. Look at Strange, uncertain. Doctor Strange, one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. He is backed up against his bookshelf, that very careful cast shadow across him, giving us concern, showing fear, trepidation. This entire book, here Dakeem takes him back in time to see the Ancient One. Once again, the faces. Look at the Ancient One. Look at that. Look at the Ancient One and the astral form that Doctor Strange is maintaining through this visitation, where Dakeem is taking him back to speak to the Ancient One. I mean, then suddenly, we're transitioning, and Doctor Strange is in a straitjacket here. But look at these brilliant, beautiful, gorgeous, super attractive faces. Okay, Baron Mordo. Instantly, you go, is that the best Baron Mordo I ever saw? Okay. Art Adams would do some illustrations that would find their way into some of the Doctor Strange reprints. And you can tell 84, he is extremely influenced by what's going on with Doctor Strange. I mean, they're visiting him here in the rubber room, where he's being held in his straitjacket in the padded cell. Doctor Strange is then reading his own adventures as published by Marvel Comics, so we got a little bit of a fourth wall break. But just look at the detail, the care, the lighting. Then he's attending the premiere of his movie, the Doctor Strange movie. And for those of us, we had seen the Cameron Powell CBS movie that had already aired a couple of years prior. But Michael Golden, when he put his mind to it, there is nothing that he could not conquer and master. Crowd scenes. Michael Golden did one extended monthly run. The longest of his career was on the Micronauts, 1 through 12, 1 through 11. A body of work that we started this podcast off with 5.5 years ago. It had never been collected. It had been 40 years since Micronauts had been collected. In the last 2 years, Micronauts got collected. The Hasbro people and the Marvel people finally came to an agreement. We got the omnibuses. We got the standalone specialty reprints, but that stuff is available. It is available for you to consume, to admire. From that period on, Michael would be kind of more of a special project. He did the Nom, several issues of that, but it wasn't the same extensive dedication as those first 12 years, 12 months, 12 issues. Again, you've got Doctor Strange visiting some familiar cartoonists. The lighting, the figure work, the gestures, the rendering. Oh, like everyone thinks this is one of the most definitive depictions of the Defenders, and this is the lineup that they had at the time. Very supernatural lineup, but look at that Valkyrie. You'll see a lot of what was to come with Art Adams, what was to come with Todd McFarlane in that Valkyrie, the hair, the face, the figure. Michael Golden, more influential in many ways than Barry Windsor Smith. I bought some long shot pages at New York Comic Con, and someone was immediately wanted to point out to me, and they did when I posted the pictures online. They're like, these Doctor Stranges that Art Adams is drawing are drawn from this issue. This Doctor Strange 55. I want to say this is in 1982. So this is 2 years prior to the. I'm going to tell you right now. 1982. This is 2 years prior to Life Death. But check out that Doctor Strange face. I am holding up what appears to be, is this page 12? Is this page 12 in the story? This bottom panel with this incredible cross-hatching, this art, just stunning. Yes, and realizing that all of the backgrounds are like Hollywood sets, props in this panel, as again, Doctor Strange is being taken on this journey with Dakeem. And here's where it all comes to. I love where it all comes to the head. But you've got this incredible interpretation of Terry Austin interpreting the cross-hatching and all of these different, and you got to understand, this works when these lines are laid down so fast and with such authority. And then he puts the zipatone across. But you've got Doctor Strange starting to figure out that this Dakeem has no goodwill about him. He is, in fact, despair. Look at the rise of that cape, the presence here, the standoff between despair and Doctor Strange, the staging of this panel, again, the tapestry, the capes, the curl of the cloth, the folds, the rendering, this lightning, you guys, this is mastercraft. This is master craftsmanship. And before you know it, we're pretty much at the end. But I mean, tell me Doctor Strange doesn't look completely and totally freaked out, flipping out. Look at the sinister, not just the drawing and the structure, leaning more towards a skeletal influence to make him even more frightening. But then look at the rendering on top of the angles here. This is best appreciated in black and white. I'm going to lean into that time and again. And then their final face-off has all manner of crazy special effects and, whatever, the bands of Satorak. Look at this shot of Strange summoning all of his might as the Sorcerer Supreme, battling back the oppressive influence of Dakeem. And then we wrap it up. But look at the realization on Doctor Strange's face. Look at that face. When I say best drawn, it is to staging, it is to storytelling, it is to lighting, it is to rendering. This book has them all. Look at that special effect. Look at the sinister resolve. The from this to, all right, I'm gonna have to go all in here. Boom. This last panel with him holding the dagger. Look at the lighting on that. Michael Golden is one of one. He is a one of one. And this last page where we finally get, you see relief, you see the cracks of a smile on Stephen Strange, and then this beautiful final shot with him admiring the love of his life, Clea. Doctor Strange 55 was part of the conversation immediately and is held aloft as one of the very best comic books, single-issue comic books ever. Maybe Buzz, also known as Aldrin, Aldrin, maybe he can sell you one of his. He may have cornered the market on Doctor Strange 55, and I think I just showed you with good reason. In color, these books are great. In black and white, they're spectacular. You get the level of detail and more of the quality of the craftsmanship that went into, I mean, the application of the tools. And at no point am I diminishing or taking away the quality of the pencils that both Barry Windsor Smith and Michael Golden brought to their respective issues. But to all too often, inkers, and both Michael Golden and Barry Windsor Smith have had inkers who compromise their work, who make it less than it was supposed to be in regards to impact and admiring the quality of the lines. Terry Austin delivers every time. That's why everyone wanted so badly to be inked by Terry. And by the time me and my boys were breaking in, Terry's dance card was not only very full, but he was very picky and choosy about who he inked. I'm not sure if he ever inked over Todd McFarlane. I got 2 covers, a front and a back cover, the Wolverine Saga #1, inked by him, never to be inked by him again. I think Jim Lee maybe got a couple of covers. I don't think he got interiors. Eric Larson was the most friendly with Terry, and Terry seemed to really enjoy inking Eric, which is why I think he did the most work with Eric Larson out of the bunch of us. Terry's inks over Michael Golden, Terry's inks over Barry Windsor Smith preserved what I believe the greatness of the quality of both of these. I don't even want to call them jobs. They're gifts. These are gifts to us. So the most modern day entrant number 4, comes from my former partner and fellow co-founder, Batman Joker, The Deadly Duo by Mark Silvestri. Mark is also a one of one. The figure work, the drawing, and the ever-evolving rendering. Both Michael Golden and Barry Windsor Smith took their rendering to a certain point. I followed them. I followed all of their jobs. I watched their evolution. And they both had extended evolutions of the rendering, adding more, making them more intricate. I propose to you that Mark Silvestri went even further. I have never seen this guy take a break. He pushes and pushes. And we were up in I think Washington. And we were, maybe it was Portland. I think it was Portland. And we were celebrating I think it was the 25th or the 20th? It's around 2017. Oh, okay. No. Okay, yeah. I think it was the 25th anniversary of Image Comics. We all had breakfast. Todd couldn't make it, but Robert Kirkman, Jim Valentino, Eric Larson, Eric Stevenson, Mark Silvestri, myself had breakfast one morning, and Mark brought these pages to share with us. And this is the first one that I held in my hands. And I'm showing a preview book of this comic, The Batman Joker. It was being distributed at New York Comic Con at the time. Mark signed my copy. Okay, you see it in gold right there. Sweet. This Harley Quinn was a level of detail, craftsmanship that I had not seen Mark ever even attempt. And look at that mouse. Rat. Mark is a master storyteller. And to take his illustrative approach, there is some Bernie Wrightson elements in here. That's probably the biggest unexpected. Look at this. Look at this dude's face. I have talked to you guys about how incredible Mark's illustrations have been over the course of all of these many years. I'm a giant fan. I believe he is far and away the best of all of the Image original 7. None of us can hold a candle to the quality of work. Look at this another very quiet shot. Beautiful, whatever this detective's face is, in this incredible rendition of Batman. Look at that room. Look at that down shot. Look at this layered texture of lines that Mark throws on this page. This is how Mark handles this job throughout. The one area that I will say Mark is, I think, superior to what Barry Windsor Smith and what Michael Golden and even Neil Adams bring to the page. And this is a high bar. I believe Mark's dynamics are greater than these in regards to meeting a standard and surpassing it in terms of dynamics for maximum comic book impact. These shots of Batman, you feel the motion here. I feel the air. I feel the breeze. I feel his cape billowing. Just the pivot and the power in that gesture and the tilt of that angle here, where he's jumping out at us and achieving this incredible shot, pushing in and showing you the level of rendering that he has applied to Batman's cape. Mark's not he is a very competitive guy, and over the years, he will see what is working in other people's work. He will see what the market is responding to. He will then rise to soar above it, as he did with this Batman job. And the entirety of this job has some of the best faces, figures, mood, drawing, tapestry of clothing, of cloth, of linen. These bats, the use of silhouettes. He knows exactly when to go quiet. I mean, look at this. Batman, Joker, the Deadly Duo. I could take each and every issue. And these SWAT guys. This is when I literally was like, what is going on here? Look at the way that he chooses to intermingle those lines. This is line work that does fall under Bernie Wrightson-esque, but Mark doesn't draw Bernie Wrightson-esque. Mark has a much more powerful kind of sturdier underdrawing, and to then throw this on top of what is a very realistic, photorealistic face to begin with. But even this guy behind him, the shadows and the cross-hatching. Look, is there a better Batman face? No, that's it right there. And I'm putting that out to all the greats who are doing Batman. I just believe Mark Rose, he really was inspired. He was inspired. I mean, Captain Handsome himself, Bruce Wayne. These are incredible. Look at that, Alfred. Look at this bat. Look, tell me that these are not some of the best rendered faces, constructed faces. I mean, classically. Look, Robert Redford, the great Robert Redford, when he passed, every podcast, every show that I watched celebrating him talked about how incredibly handsome he was. This incredible jawline, his eyes. Robert Redford led with his, great looks. Mark Silvestri, everyone is Robert Redford. This guy does not know how to draw unappealing people. And even when he draws someone as sinister and disturbed as Joker, you just want to go in closer. And I really thought that Brian Boland's Joker would stand like alone. But this is just the capabilities of Mark Silvestri, who I would love to have on the show. I would love to interview, and I will pursue that going into 2026. Another incredible, he pushes the camera in tighter, gives us even more of these broken up lines, refusing to really adhere to any solid blacks. It's part of by the design. This is where we're going to end this preview, because this is all I need to show you. If you didn't, for whatever reason, grab Deadly Duo, Batman and Joker, then you missed out on, I believe, the best illustrated comic of the past 15, 20 years. Mark Silvestri, he's no joke. He's not messing around. He's not pulling any punches. I believe Deadly Duo, just issue one. We'll just go issue one. Stands up to Batman Life Death. X-Men Life Death, X-Men 186, Doctor Strange 55. Batman, Joker, Deadly Duo, issue one. These are finger licking good. You want to lick these pages. They're so delicious. They are so magnificently crafted. And look, I love art. I love powerful figures. I love beautiful faces. I love the great thing about Mark. He'll give you a pretty face, and then he'll give you what we can call some ugly rendering. but the ugly rendering, the relentless cross-hatching with the lines crashing into each other makes for this incredible pattern that does not take away from the beauty because he's a master. He's a master at what he does. Mark Silvestri, Batman, Joker, Deadly Duo, Doctor Strange, 55, and X-Men 186, Life Death are three of my entries for all of these reasons. Now there are a couple of Kevin Nolan jobs that came close to making the cut. I just couldn't get them to jump over these. I'm definitely double checking as I'm given an hour to this already. I want to make sure I gave you the right damn numbers on these books. Both life deaths are that Barry Windsor Smith did. The second one, I believe, takes place all in Africa. 186, yes, Batman. X-Men, life death. Look at that storm again. Good God Almighty. Which brings us to. I don't have a black and white version of this, but which brings us to, and thank God they reprinted this a couple years back. So now you all know what I'm talking about. Right before I went on air, right before I hit click, it brought me all the way back because I was trying to check against my memory. Hey, that's Henry Fonda. Hey, that's Ron Howard. Hey, that's Jimmy Carson, the famed talk show host. And this is true to how it was released back in the day. There was this chart, and it's so fun to go in there and put the chart of who's in the crowd for the big double pager. Yes, for those who don't know, Joe Kubert laid this out. This is based on a rough layout. When Neil took over the book, legend has it that Muhammad Ali wasn't as crazy about the Joe Kubert approach. Neil stepped in, won the job, won the assignment. But Joe's layout, original layout, you can see it, it's online, it's everywhere, for this cover, what was very closely adhered to. But what Neil did is he made each of these people, and I'm going to tell you right now, you got all manner of names you've heard me say on this show. You've heard me say Marshall Rogers, he's in this crowd. Dick Giordano is in this crowd. Bob McLeod is in this crowd. He packed this full of people that he worked with comic book fans. Superman Muhammad Ali, you go down here, you go Joe Rubenstein, Jack Abel, Marshall Rogers, Bob Wyacek inked me on New Mutants, Bob McLeod, Mike Nasser, Carl Potts, Terry Austin, Rick Bryant is an illustrator from comic books, Larry Hama, Trevor Von Eden. You go, everyone in the crowd. Bob Layton is in the crowd. Paul Kupperberg is in the crowd. Dick Giordano is in the crowd. Of course, Neil Adams himself is in the crowd. Al Milgram is in the crowd. Bernie Wrightson is in the crowd. Gil Kane. So just tremendously entertaining. One of my favorite Superman figures of all time, and it only takes up just a slight amount of the page. This is the only, for those of you who don't know, the only interior job Neil Adams ever did for Superman. He was famous for doing Superman covers. This is his only interior Superman story. Look at that. Look at the upshot. Look at that shot. Tell me this is incredible. I think this is where the aliens show the firepower they have and decimate this island. This shot of Neil. Now, guess who was tremendously influential on Michael Golden? Neil Adams. Michael Golden was of Doctor Strange 55 was a pupil of this man right here. This seminal, incredible talent. But really, I would close this book just like I'm holding up pages 2 and 3 of Superman Muhammad Ali as Clark and Lois and Jimmy are walking through the neighborhood. And we see, look at the guy looking back, checking out the girl right there. Very deliberate. Look at, there's Clark and Lois and Jimmy. I'm sorry, is Clark not among them? Yeah, he's right there. Sorry. This shot of people walking up and down the street in this neighborhood with the billboards is like Storm lying in the tapestry. It is something. It is something else. The photorealistic Muhammad Ali was the LeBron James, was the Tom Brady, was the Michael Jordan, was the Patrick Mahomes of his day. He was the most celebrated, most popular athlete, and every time Neil Adams draws, especially to the kids who are buying this book, every time, I mean, look at this upshot as as Muhammad Ali arrives in the Fortress of Solitude. Look at these shots. Look at that shot of Neil of Superman talking to Muhammad Ali. This book, I mean, this panel alone, man, if this was a standalone panel, I'd bid on it. I'd bid on this right here. Just the most incredible drawings, and we'll just skip ahead to some of the more spectacular. This is one of the most imitated shots. The impact. Superman is down, having fought under I think it's a red sun that negates his powers and makes him human. He gets throttled. The motion of Perry White shoving and Muhammad Ali shoving everyone out of the way so they can get care to Superman. There is a. I'm going to close this with just this is it. This is it. To this day, this shot of Muhammad Ali revving up his speech, threatening the aliens. I will never forget the impact of these two faces right here. Neil Adams, honestly, just a master, a master. This would get, I would say, close to seven figures were this to go to market. This would easily go no less than $500,000, maybe more. This is one of the most celebrated shots of Superman flying through the alien armada, leaving all these ships in his wake. And then the last page with no Superman, we are the greatest. We are the greatest. Deliberately keeping the open white space so that all we focus on is these two figures. Wow. I hope that you enjoyed delving into this. I believe Superman Muhammad Ali has a special place, but Doctor Strange 55, X-Men 186, Batman Deadly Duo, Batman Joker Deadly Duo #1. They're in the discussion. Like I said, there's some Kevin Nolan jobs that came to mind, stuff that is so stunning and revolutionary in regards to the way that he wielded rendering and lighting on faces that influenced everybody that followed, including myself, Jim Lee, many others. It's tough to pick, but now it's time for you to tell me, Rob, those aren't even in the discussion. I've got X amount of others. I'm going to tell you, I think you're going to have a hard time. Personally, these books, one word I haven't used, they're flawless. These books are without flaw. They are meticulously manicured in their detail, in their craft. I think you're going to have a hard time bringing anything to the table that jumps these, okay? And if your favorite fill in the artist is your guy, look, you guys know how much I adore and celebrate and possibly overspend on John Byrne's X-Men pages. But it is incredible work that has stood the test of time and on its own merits each and every issue. Was it the best drawn comic coming out each and every month for those 3.5 years? It was. You know, unless it was the month 1978, early in Byrne's run that this came out. But it's not a fair fight. I believe Neil Adams on this had about 2 years to make this book. We don't know what kind of time. I know Mark had about 7 to 8 years to craft Batman Joker Deadly Duo. It doesn't matter. It's going to be on our shelves for the rest of our lives. So what is 8 to 7 years when it's going to be on the shelf for decade after decade after decade? Please in the comments, make sure you sound off. What is yours? Certainly Barry Windsor Smith's Frankenstein plates. That's not a comic book. Those are some plates, some illustrative plates, part of a portfolio that he did. Those would stand up to any of those. Those are not comic books. Those are not sequential storytelling pages. These are comic book stories, not covers, stories, pages, sequential art, moments, panels. If you've got suggestions or you want to challenge my criteria, the picks that I have brought forth, do so. It's on. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Share your loves. Maybe you have a similar admiration for any one of these jobs. Let me know. Let's talk about something maybe that I completely missed that should be in the equation. I'll tell you one thing. there's more than a few Barry Windsor Smith jobs that I believe Life Death is above all of them, but he did a standalone Wolverine versus Lady Deathstrike. You could give me his best 8-page sequence from Weapon X, because that was originally, in case you didn't know, released as 8-page installments bi-weekly in Marvel Comics Presents before it was collected as Weapon X. You could possibly bring me the Iron Man, if I didn't already mention it, the Iron Man issue that he did. The guy had a run. He had a moment. He had time. He was cooking. So let me know. I'll look for all of your interactions. Let me know how I did, and definitely share your thoughts and your take on each and every one of these picks. Thank you so much. Wanted to do a dedicated all comic book episode, and we did. And hopefully it didn't suck. And hopefully you were entertained and you had a good time, and you can share that. Thank you, as always, for listening. When I am not on this show, I am all over the socials. I am on X at Robert Liefeld, ROBERTLIEFELD. Blue check tells you it's really me. Used to be called Twitter, now it's called X. Used to be Twitter, now it's called X, right? Okay. At Robert Liefeld, blue check, that's really me, reading your comments, responding, talking to you, exchanging, promoting this show relentlessly as I do. Thank you for interacting with me. I love that I can talk to you across oceans, Australia, Germany, Japan, everywhere in the United States. So join me at Robert Liefeld on X. I will look for you, continue to read your replies, your mentions, your comments, your DMs. Thank you. On Instagram, I'm at Rob Liefeld, ROBLIEFELD, blue check. Again, tells you it's really me. We are making some fun content over there. We're really trying to embrace a different brand of storytelling. And based on what you guys have been sharing, we're getting it right. Scotty is crushing it for me. He crafts different shooting days material, comes at me. We like to, in case I don't have any heads up as to the stuff that's thrown at me. So what you're getting is my real-time kind of breakdown of some of the challenges, some of the questions that he's posed to me. I'll continue to share drawings, and as we head into the big Youngblood release, which I'm going to pause and talk about here for just a second, I'm at Rob Liefeld on Instagram, blue check, follow me, look forward to seeing you. You're going to see a lot of the stuff that is coming at us, at you, in regards to Youngblood. So I crafted Youngblood, got it out. Now I know what Youngblood is sold, and we have been sitting on it. These are exciting developments, but I'm not going to share them yet. What I was informed of before I did this episode was that it's gone. The book's gone. The book is sold out at the distributor level. Our distributor has more orders than it does supply. The supply on this book will not meet demand as it stands. It looks like 16 days out from the final book's release. What does that mean when you read that? That means if your store ordered 120 and maybe a week later, 2 weeks later, decided that they really needed 160 or 140, 20 more copies, maybe that they put those orders in. We are not of the practice of doing extreme over ordering. So we printed what we call to the bone. We printed very tight, given the numbers that were sent in by the different accounts, the different retailers. So if you're trying to get more of my cover A, which comes with 6 different cover A is a mixture of 6 different cards, 1 card per polybag. It's polybagged in the way that X-Force was polybagged. So you can see right through it. You can see the card you're going to get. There's a Badrock, there's a Diehard, there's a Shaft, there's a Chapel, there's a Vandal. There's a Chase variant foil version of Vandal. Those are what's going to be available, and there are no more of that. You cannot suddenly contact the distributor and think that there's going to be extra added amounts that will be allocated for your store. It's too late for that. That ship, as they say, sailed. It passed. And so what is going to arrive in stores, unless you were early, very, very early. And the way that they know this is they say that all of these things have back orders. One of the covers, as of this recording, I won't tell you, it's one of mine. One of them, one of them has over 3,500 back orders. People decided that they wanted more of this particular cover. They won't be able to get it. So whether it's mine or Scotty Young's or Daniel Warren Johnson or Ryan Otley or Ryan Stegman or the Kyle Nagu, the Eric Gist, Mark Spears, these covers are going to be in short supply. The book was ordered very well, very spectacular numbers, exceeded every one of my expectations. You also have dedicated stores that did their own variants. There are 27 of those. Many are online stores. They're going to be sharing those via live streams through eBay, through whatnot. I'll be carrying some of those. Others are brick and mortar stores like Third Eye, which has their incredible Jim Rugg. Midtown took one of my Youngblood variants. We are going to have a bunch of these covers out there. I'm going to be pushing each and every one of those. Those stores are in the best shape because they have the most quantity of one specific cover that they made for their store. So you're going to want to, if you want to get a copy of Youngblood, and they're going to be more and more difficult to get as this release date approaches, those stores are some of your best bets because they're going to have a dedicated. They ordered to get one of those covers. You had to put in a certain number. I did an interview. It said 750 copies constituted your ability to get an original cover. So those are coming out. Then you've got the Youngblood team-up covers where Geiger and Redcoat and I Hate Fairyland and so many other incredible comic books put a Youngblood component, a character, mixed it in with their regular. These are very exciting. It's all very humbling. It's a thrill. It really is. Especially when the retailers called and showed me, and then I cross-checked it with Image Comics. And the second print covers are already done. I had to do second print covers because we got to get these books to press because, again, people are going to want to participate in this book, and the supply is not going to meet the demand. Where we are going to be pushing, as I say, I'm going to push and get in bed with my retail partners and physically show you and sell you a Third Eye Blind cover, a Midtown Comics cover, one of the many accounts that participated, or these Youngblood team-up covers. If you're damn right, if Brian Hitch took his time to put Youngblood on a cover of Redcoat, I am going to push that so that you know about it, so that you can obtain it. Most of that is going to come through Instagram. We've already done a number of different videos. There'll be many more to come. We've put those together for the Instagram account at Rob Liefeld Blue Check. Follow me. You're going to get a ton of content. Then the actual pages are going to be available through Panel Page Art. Glenn is going to have my work at Panel Page Art. Probably a day of drop. November 12th is the day that this book is coming out. That's when I say 16 days, 14 days, that's how far out we are. November 12th is when Youngblood is landing, but the supply is already low. The demand is high. So be warned. But we will be promoting it across all of our different channels. The aforementioned X at Robert Liefeld, and now Instagram at Rob Liefeld. Also, Facebook, we have a group. It's called Rob Liefeld Marvel Extreme and Beyond. I would love for you to join us over there. We're having the best time. We discuss comics. We discuss trends, sales, artists. Each and every episode of this show gets a dedicated post that you can weigh in on and discuss. Boy, did our AI episode get an all-time high, not just in the YouTube comments, not just in the Facebook, everywhere. It was the most discussed. You guys had stuff to say. You said it. I hope that you sound off today about what you believe is some of your best illustrated comics in terms of figures, faces, renderings, staging, lighting, pacing, sound off. I want to hear it. We do that kind of stuff in that group. Rob Liefeld, Marvel Extreme and Beyond. Join us. We would love to have you, myself or Terry Sala, S-A-L-A. He is the co-administrator, the co-head of the page. We will be the ones that click you on through. Yes, I'm checking and seeing what the programming on my platform is telling me as I'm speaking to you. Outside of the X at Robert Liefeld, Instagram at Rob Liefeld, the Facebook group, Rob Liefeld, Marvel Extreme and Beyond. You guys know that I am on TikTok, and we are going to be doing all manner of promotions for Youngblood and have already sent out a bunch of special comics to some of the people who are the most enthusiastic about Youngblood, and we're going to continue to do that. That's a practice that we're going to continue to do. We value you. We value your passion and your support. And so we've created different opportunities, different comic books with which to get out there and to share with all of you. This specific allotment right here So this was the Lunar Youngblood variant, available only at New York Comic Con. I have a very few left on my whatnots. We're going to talk about my live streams here in a minute. But this was the Lunar variant. This gives you a glimpse inside the world of Youngblood as we approach issue 100, what that's going to look like. This is the blank sketch edition. I hope you got these. I hope you're going to sketch on these, do some cool Youngblood stuff. Some stores are getting some Rob Liefeld sketches that they won by participating and ordering a certain amount. And here is the matte foil. It is, oh, it's such a nice comic. Look at the way the light hits that. A matte foil. This was the 1 in 500. I'm going to tell you right now, over 300 of those were graded at 9.9s. We signed these in the presence of the CGC witnesses, of which there were about 5 or 6 at New York Comic Con. Over 300 of those achieved a 9.9 status. These are just a few of the comics that are going to be hitting. They're going to be very, I don't want to kid you. This is a 1 in 500. Your store had to get 500 to get this copy, and the copy that they're getting is coming in a CGC slabbed, likely with a 9.9. So it's going to be very exciting. TikTok, sharing this stuff on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, Facebook, and finally, live stream. We are going to be blowing up the live streams. There is a special collector's edition that we have had on the website. We closed the orders. You can no longer order from the RobLiefeldCreations.com. I would highly recommend that when you are perusing my website and you see a preview comic, we're going to give it to you at the lowest possible price on the website first. And when those sold out, then they're going to go to live stream. RobLiefeldCreations.com right now has orders for you to get the Batman Deadpool, the DC version of the Deadpool Batman team up. Batman Deadpool is their version. My name is in every copy. We have got Batman Deadpool covers. I didn't grab any of the covers that didn't have Batman or Deadpool on them, but we have them available for order right now on the site. Rob Liefeld Creations. Go there, reserve your copies now. That's the best deal you're going to get. When those sell out, as the Youngblood #2 Collector's Edition did, we have an allotment, and we may have some foils as well that are going to go live with us November 5th. The Youngblood #2 Collector's Edition. So you can get Youngblood #2 in advance. There's a very limited quantity, but you can get it 5 weeks in advance from when it's actually going to hit the market. So you can get your Youngblood #1 the week after, or maybe you've already got a special direct-to-order Youngblood that we did. But the one that's going to your comic store is different. We put different pages, different coloring. Youngblood #2 Collector's Edition, November 5th on Whatnot. I'm going to go live. Whatnot is a app. You should have it. You should download it. You should follow me. You'll be alerted to when I go live so that you can never miss out on any one of our shows. I do exclusive signatures. What is a Liefeld chisel? What is a Liefeld drop shadow chisel? What is a Liefeld blood splatter chisel? What's a Liefeld rainbow chisel? Find out. Join us. Original art, remarks, sketches, all manner of very exclusive items. We have over 100 exclusives that you can only get from me via the live stream apparatus that we go through our store, through our shows on Whatnot. Get Whatnot, download it, participate with us. We look forward to having you. The end of the year, November and December, are going to be our most active time. So if you're waffling, do it right now. Get the app. Join us. We look forward to seeing you. Man, that's a mouthful, but we got a lot going on. Youngblood, when it is released, is going to be coming out regularly. Just wrapped the finality of script and all of the bells and whistles that are going on issue 3, well into issue number 4. So we are into February's issues. December's is going on press. Next week, the collector's editions are already in hand. So we are working ahead. Giant Size Youngblood is a book that won't come out till spring or summer of 2026, but many of you got it in advance back in July. Okay, you guys built this audience. You guys are part of this incredible success. We are always trying to give back with the best efforts that we can give you. I can't wait for you to experience Youngblood 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a giant arc. It builds out. I think Youngblood #2 is super weird, and I think you have no idea the weird that is coming up. Youngblood #1 sets the table. You think, hey, this is kind of normal. This feels familiar. None of it's familiar. It all starts crumbling and going in different directions, and you'll see why when you read Youngblood #2. Guys, thanks for sharing with me today. I look forward to your comments. Sound off. Let me know what you love. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. We are here, all of us who take part putting this together. We are rooting for you in every possible way. We want your spiritual, your mental, your physical, and your emotional state of being to be as best as it possibly can be, that you are in a good place, okay? I don't know when I became so touchy-feely, but you raise three kids, you love on three kids, you have a marriage that's going on its 31st year. Compassion is kind of what seeps into you, and you watch your kids and their friends and their friends and their families and everybody grow and evolve. And the world is crazy. It's chaotic. It's built that way. Don't just talk to somebody on the phone. If you can, go meet them in person. Go get personal interaction. Go out with your friends. I go out with my high school buddies. I say it all the time. It is a blessing in my life that I continue to get together with the guys who are my friends in 1983, 84, 85, and we can break bread, have breakfast burritos, eggs, omelets. It's always a breakfast, coffee. It's a great meeting of the minds. We don't even talk about comics. We just talk about families, life, stuff. Take your wife on a date. Keep dating her. Keep telling her how great she is. Love on your kids. Spend time with them. Have a discussion. Don't blow them off. Don't take time for granted. Holidays are coming. It's going to be a special time. We're going to go a little longer this year than we have in years past, but we'll go dark for a lot of December. But Thanksgiving's my favorite. Halloween, we're about to cross that hurdle, and then we are heading straight into Thanksgiving. I have a bunch to be thankful for. There's every year, every month, every week, every day has challenges. It has hurdles, but we got to get through them. And we do that by getting off the treadmill. Don't let it grind you. Grab time for yourself. Get right. Get rest. Above all things, get rest. And just in the quiet, sometimes things settle and clarity emerges, and that's what we hope for you. Two big boom boom fist bumps. Yes, I'm having my big cup right after this show. Best 90 seconds of my life. I'm going to be honest. Today it's a jumbo cup. English Jimmy, love you, buddy. James Long sent me my lifetime supply of jumbo cups. One jumbo cup is like 2 to 3. It's like 365 days of chocolate and peanut butter. Okay, that's right after this. Just got to. We are not sponsored. We will never be sponsored. I'm just telling you that through these 5 years, that love has not changed. That Reese's big cup, jumbo cup, whatever, the Christmas tree that I'm gonna have an abundance of, the Easter egg. I'm already thinking about in next spring. Okay. We're going to embrace all that. We're going to do it together. We're going to love on each other. We're rooting for you. Boom, boom, into this blue Yeti mic, wishing you all the best. I'll be back. Do not leave me behind. Don't leave me here. Right there, outside, pick me up. We will most definitely, absolutely, and inevitably, we are going to talk again real soon.